area that we're watching, and even if it's not a tornado, it's likely going to have some very strong winds that are surging out. The scan just went by seeing an uptick, a small uptick about half a mile south of Davis. Now, if you're watching in Sulphur right now, we're keeping a close eye on this for you, Sulphur, because this is continuing to move to the east. Once again, tornado warning until 8:45. It's only 8:22, and these storms are moving quickly to the east at about 25 to 35 miles per hour. As you heard Michael mention, storm is cycling. They usually don't just lay down a tornado from start to finish, and it's the same intensity all the way down. It kind of skips and goes along the countryside here. You see an uptick, a downtick, a bit of a downward trend there, and so it did decrease for a moment in the last radar scan, but then it picked back up again. So tornado warning absolutely remains and needs to remain for this storm. Once again, Davis, being in the innermost room of your house or your tornado shelter right now. Let's go back out to Michael. Michael, what do you have?
So we're going to zoom in on Vanoss right now. There is a really tight circulation from Twin Lakes due west of Ada, right near Vanoss. I mean, I don't know if there's any type of artifacts within the velocity data, but that's one of the tightest couplets I've seen all night. It does have a tornado vortex signature, and I'm going to be looking at correlation coefficient to see if we have any tornado debris signatures. I don't see any right now associated with that, but man, this storm has really got a lot of crazy velocities with it. I mean, it's a very broad rotation across several miles.
Yeah, and Michael, as we're looking at a rotation tracker right now, we definitely see the increase in the rotation. You're talking about exactly where by Vanoss there. So southwest of Ada, making its way across Pontotoc County, and that has increased in the last scan there. Let's go full here. So this is what Michael's referring to. So this as well has picked up in intensity in the last couple of scans as well. Southwest of Ada, still a severe thunderstorm warning, but the potential is definitely there for this to become a tornado warning as well for western and central Pontotoc County. And if you're watching in, say, Calvin and Holdenville right now, this would be headed in your direction, also coming very close to Sasakwa. Davis down towards Turner Falls. This is another area. Tornado warning remains in effect for this as well. So Michael's in a position right now where he has at least good enough eye to see at least both of these areas right now. But in the last couple of radar scans, we have seen an increase here just southwest of Ada, or just west of Ada. At that current track, that would continue to make its way up to the north. And you just hope that at this time of the night right now, where the sun has been down for a couple of hours, that this does not get any stronger at all. So we're hoping that's going to be the case here. But I do want to go back down to Davis here, because Davis, in the last radar scan, we have seen at least a bit of an increase. Once again, what I'm watching closely will be these areas of brown that you see. So the green is going to be light rotation. The brown is going to be moderate rotation. So just not even a stone's throw outside of Davis right now. So Davis, this is way too close for comfort right now. I know it's a concerning evening right now in Davis. Davis, you're still in your tornado shelter. Now, if you're west of I-35, you're out of your tornado shelter now. You can.
They issued a tornado warning for Hughes, Pontotoc, and Seminole.
Okay, so a brand new tornado warning. Okay, so here comes tornado warning number 2 coming in now, and that is going to be for this storm that we have up here as well. So now we're working multiple tornado warnings this evening. So this warning remains for Murray County until 8:45, and there's your new tornado warning that was just issued. And as we just mentioned, that one does include Sasakwa. Let's check back in with Michael west of Ada. Michael, brand new tornado warning. You've been watching this storm since it basically developed west of or east of Wichita Falls. Michael, what do you see now?
You're looking right at it. You're looking at the wall cloud right now that's prompting the tornado warning. This is exactly what I was just talking about, how these velocities have picked up. Now, this area is not as close to Vanoss as what the other one was. This one is closer to me. And so people in Ada, listen, Ada has to take their tornado precautions right now. I cannot be any clearer than that. If you live in Ada, take your immediate tornado precautions right now.
Very good advice are coming in from Michael. He is saying, if you're in Ada right now, take your tornado precautions immediately. That means the innermost room of your house or your tornado shelter. Once again, tornado warning. Now we're working 2 tornado warnings at this moment down towards Ada and down towards Davis. And so Davis and Sulphur, and then Ada as well, watching both of these storms. Let's zoom in first into Ada. We'll go into Pontotoc County, and then we'll go down in towards Murray County here in just a moment. But you can see how close we are with this storm making its way into Ada. I'm going to put a track here on just the rotation itself. And so this is moving in at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So this is coming in the next 5 to 10 minutes here. You can see multiple areas of moderate rotation with this storm lifting up to the northeast. So once again, Ada, Sasakwa at 9:21 is when this storm will be moving in for you. Let's go back down. Let's get an update right now with what's happening down for what we'll call the Sulphur-Davis tornado warning that we have as well. This one, it's when you see it kind of enlarged like this, that can usually indicate some powerful straight line winds that are coming out of this. The storm is still warned for winds up to 70 miles per hour. So west of Turner Falls, you're in a much better spot right now when it comes to at least this tornado warning. We'll give you the all clear when the threat is over for the rest of the night. That's probably going to happen around 10 o'clock. But we're still finding at least areas of rotation from Davis to Turner Falls. Here is Sulphur right now. So Sulphur, once again, innermost room of your house, tornado warning remains in effect, or your tornado shelter with this cell moving to the east northeast. Let's check back in with Michael Armstrong right now. Michael, you've been on this storm once again. Our rotation tracker, Michael, continues to show what is a moderate rotation. Michael, what do you see from your vantage point?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. We do have a tornado vortex signature on radar. That's what I'm seeing. This wall cloud we're just on the south side of Ada, Damon. We're just a few miles south of Ada. For those folks that know this area down here, I'm near County Road 353, and I'm right on the Chickasaw Turnpike that's coming in as well. So that's where we're located. So we're right here southwest of Ada, keeping an eye on it, and it continues to make progress toward Ada. I'm really concerned for Ada right now. It's a really low-hanging wall cloud. What I don't see is anything on the ground. I don't see any, power flashes or anything like that. It doesn't always necessarily mean there's a tornado if there's power flashes. Sometimes you can have just damaging winds with a severe thunderstorm. But sometimes we do see power flashes with tornadoes. I haven't, other than those few flashes that I saw a little bit ago, I haven't seen anything else like that with it in the last 5 minutes or so. But you can see just how low it is. I mean, our night vision, man, it's amazing whenever the lightning lights it up, how well you can see it, even though it's night. It's just that we have a lot of trees, so we kind of pick our spots, we stop, we take a look at it, and then we move on down the road. But we're continuing to watch it. Please, in Ada, go ahead, stay in your tornado precautions, stay in your safe spot. Don't get out. Don't get out of your shelter right now. This circulation is coming in right on top of you.
Yeah, great advice there coming in from Michael. Michael's right. The circulation is now moving in here pretty quickly. And so with the rotation tracker, you can see it's certainly much brighter right now just west of Ada. So we're watching this. Mike is watching it. Meteorologist Sabrina Bates watching this as well. So this is an area of rotation. This tornado warning right here goes until 9 o'clock. So we'll continue to update you on this. There's Mike. He's right in the heart of this. Sabrina, let's go down to Davis and Sulphur. This tornado warning expires at 8:45. That's another 15 minutes from now. And if you're watching in Sulphur right now, what do you need to know? Tornado warning remains in effect. Now, the rotation has definitely come down a bit, which is very nice to say. We're happy to report that, but the rotation has not it has not vanished yet. So Sulphur, you're still in your tornado shelter, innermost room of your house. Once this moves overhead and then to the east of you, then you'll be in a better spot there. At least Davis right now, the worst of the rotation or the tightest of the rotation is now going to be to the east of you now. So that's good for those in Davis. So putting down a storm track, 8:35 Sulphur. That is 4 minutes from now when it moves in. And then we go into Hickory at 8:47. Pontotoc at 9:08 and down towards eventually Stonewall at 9:21. This storm will likely move more to the east and at this current track will stay south of the town of Ada. So Ada passing that along to you. Sabrina, let's zoom on out if we can and kind of show the bigger picture here. So if you're watching in Oklahoma City right now, what do you need to know? Storm to the east, storms to your south, none of this will impact you. A long line of storms, but right now where the instability is highest will basically set up from Holdenville and down to the south. So these storms that you see north of I-40, we're okay with those. Severe thunderstorm warnings, though, with this entire line extends all the way down to the Red River. Let's go back into Pontotoc County, get back in with field meteorologist Michael Armstrong. Michael, the circulation has been getting very, very close to the town of Ada. Michael, what do you see from your vantage point?
Yeah, you can see the edge of the collar cloud, the wall cloud, actually wrapping right around very near us, Damon. We're going to be on the way. We're going to be moving through Ada in a fairly rapid hurry here as we're making our way through some construction right now. But a really low-hanging wall cloud right there. Look how low that's hanging. That is moving right in toward Ada right now as we speak. This is a dangerous situation with this moving into a populated area. I cannot stress enough. Please continue to be in your safe spot in Ada. Now is not the time to come out. We'll tell you later on, whenever this storm is clear, when you can do that. Right now is not that time. You are not in the clear in Ada at all right now, and you can see just how low it is. This storm is really wrapped up. Don't see a tornado on the ground, but you just have to treat it as though it is.
Exactly, Michael. And with the technology that we have here at KOCO, we can see the rotation inside the storm. And so this is showing signs of increasing in rotation just southwest of Ada. And at this current track, I mean, it is going to come right in the town. So this continues to strengthen watching this and eventually up towards Sasakwa as well. So this tornado warning until 9 o'clock, storm track to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour, brings it into Ada. Basically right about now here. It's coming right into town. And then we go all the way down towards Sasakwa at 9:02. Sasakwa, you're on the northern fringe of this tornado warning. Sabrina, let's go down to Murray County. It's given an update for those in Sulphur. So the good news for Sulphur is that the rotation does not look nearly as organized as it did when it was west of I-35. So Sulphur, that's good news for us. Still fighting some rotation with this storm right overhead, and so this tornado warning remains in effect. But as of right now, at least we have seen a bit of a downward trend with the rotation on this cell. So passing that along, Davis, you can come out of your tornado shelters now. Davis, the storm is east of you, and Sulphur, give it about another 5-10 minutes, and things will be improving for you as well. Let's go back up into Pontotoc County here. Look at the latest with this storm, and I tell you what, this continues to just increase in rotation as we're coming right into Ada. Mike, let's go back out to Mike. Mike, the latest radar scan that just went right on by, now showing an increase in rotation just west of Ada. Michael, what do you see? Okay, we'll get back out to Michael there in just a minute here, but what we're seeing right here, rotation increasing just on the outskirts of town, just west of Ada. So this is moving to the east, northeast. Here's Michael. This is going to move right over town here. So rotation, latest radar scan, we're starting to see this a little bit more red popping up. This is new to you if you're not too familiar with what you're looking at. Green is light rotation or weak rotation. The brown red color right here, that is going to be moderate rotation. So we are seeing an increase in the rotation right on top of Ada at this very moment as the storm is continuing to make its way through. There's Michael right there. And so Michael, that's his picture you see on the left-hand side of your television screen. And from this vantage point here, we're still seeing lights on, which is good. At least we know that the power has not been knocked out there, but we're going to continue to keep in very close contact with Michael as this tornadic circulation, the storm continues to move up to the northeast. Let's go back out to Michael. Michael, in the last radar scan, seeing an increase in rotation. Michael, what do you see from where you are?
Well, I mean, there's just massive.
Okay, we'll get Michael back on here in just a moment. Again, okay, Michael, go ahead. You're coming in and out here, Michael.
I'm still here.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, we have a lot of lowerings all around this. One of them is right here on the north side of Ada, and we're continuing to track the storm. It is going to be moving up to the northeast. So right now, Damon.
Okay, we'll get Michael back on here in just a moment. Michael, just a heads up, you're kind of coming in and out. We understand it, but Michael, where your GPS locator is plotting and where we're seeing some of the tightest rotation, I can understand why your signal might be coming in and out, at least your cell phone, because I mean this is the tightest we have seen, and this is coming right into Ada. Michael's pictures on the left-hand side of your television screen here. We'll continue to talk to him, but moderate rotation with this tornado warning now coming right into Ada. Once again, Ada, you have to be in your tornado shelter, innermost room of your house. If you don't have a tornado shelter, innermost room, bathroom, a room without windows. Okay, that's where you need to be. That's where you need to be right now with this storm moving right in. Let's go back out to Michael. Michael's on the north side of Ada. Michael, our rotation tracker continues to show moderate rotation now coming right into Ada. Michael, what do you see?
Right, Damon. So just so everybody knows, anybody who knows Ada will know this. I'm at Richardson Loop and Broadway. Okay, it's a very this is a developed area of Ada here on the north side of town, and I'm looking back up to the north right now, and you can see the edge of the wall cloud. It's just skirting right on the north side, and there are so many lowerings with this. There's so much kind of broad rotation with it. In some ways, that's a good thing. I know that sounds weird, but if the rotation tightens up in one particular spot, that's when we start getting the tornado. That's when we get the damage. If it just stays broad like this, that would be perfect. That's what we need. But we're right here on the Home Depot, right here on Richardson Loop, and we're going to be moving over toward Allen, trying to stay with this thing as it tracks north, just north of Ada, very close. Though, man, this was just such a close call here.
It is. And when you think about just the placement of this storm right now and where the tightest rotation is, it is coming right into the heart of Ada. And so we are hoping that this is mid-level rotation, but we're watching the scan by scan, and so the newest update shows now moderate rotation coming right into Ada. Again, this is a tornado warning. So, by the way, for those of you watching in Sulphur and down in Davis, that storm has weakened considerably. So, updating you on that, but the rotation has not weakened, not even once, with this storm that's now coming into Ada. So brand new update here. So this is your new tornado warning. We've basically trimmed out western Pontotoc County from this right here. But looking downstream, as you make your way towards eventually Saskatchewan, here's a Canadian river right here, and then eventually making its way into southern Hughes County. This is one that we're going to keep a close eye on. Sabrina, real quick, let's just go down to Sulphur, just give an update for those that are in Sulphur. So Sulphur, the rotation is now east of you. It's still going, and you can definitely see that we are finding some pockets of moderate rotation, but things have really improved for those of us in Sulphur as well as Davis. Okay, let's go back up in the Pontotoc County here, give an update on what's happening for those that are going to be still in Ada, where our radar is still showing moderate rotation coming right into Ada. Here's Bing. Bing right now, this is likely going to stay barely south of you, moving up to the northeast. And so this will continue to track up into northeastern Pontotoc County and eventually going into southern Hughes County. Let's get an update once again with Michael. Michael, what do you see in front of you?
Yeah, so you can see the low clouds hanging. Damon, I really think, I know there's a really broad area of rotation here. The tornadic part of it looks like it's going to be just on the north side rather than like in downtown or down the south side. Until you're cleared in Ada, though, you have to stay in your shelter. And we're seeing a lot of folks out on the roads, even getting gas and things like that, driving around. I haven't heard any outdoor warning sirens or anything like that, but certainly phones have gone off. My phone has gone off, and I would think everybody else's has as well. Just look at the sculpture, though. Look at the definition in the wall cloud and in the clouds as I look to the north of town. I mean, look, oh my gosh, look how low that is in the middle of the wall cloud, too, right up in there. I know I've got buildings in the way, maybe right there. There's lightning flashes right in there, Damon. That's going to be just north of Ada, right on the north side. I mean, that is very, very low.
Yeah,
right there past the arches of the McDonald's. Like, you know, I mean, that's closer to me. It's going to be quite a bit further north, though. Look at that. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. This is probably the closest I've seen to actually probably having a tornado visually all night.
Saw that, by the way, as well. So just an update. So we're finding some rotation, which is still there over Ada, but a tighter couplet there on the north side of Ada coming in. Michael, you have the perfect visual on this storm. And so, Michael, you've been in this area a lot. What do you know in the path on the north side of Ada with this storm?
Oh, there are folks who do live up in this area. It's not as densely populated as when you get further south, though. But right now, Damon, where I would put that, just for folks who might be wondering, that's going to be County Road 3570, and then also 1520. So that is basically, it's 2 miles northwest of me. It's 1 mile west of me and 2 miles north. If you can pull me up on GPS, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It is going to be lifting right up towards Francis. That's the next town down the line that will be in the path of this circulation.
And so just an update to pass along. So tornado warning for Sulphur Davis, that has been dropped. So you're okay now, Murray County. So what's happening with this storm right now is that we've seen an increase in the rotation now on the north side as these winds are now starting to wrap around this storm. So what we're hoping will happen as this happens is that will help to at least kind of muddy up the storm mode itself and hopefully bring down the tornado threat. That hasn't happened yet. But looking in the short term, in the next 5 to 10 minutes, that's what we're keeping a real close eye on. So Ada, the storm is now moving out of town. So Ada, you're in a much better spot now. So if you were in your tornado shelter or the innermost room of your house in Ada, watching this on your cell phone, you can come out in about 2 or 3 minutes here. On the north side, however, well north of Ada by about a mile or two, this storm is still showing some tightening rotation as it's headed up towards Francis. So on the north side here, this is tracking up to the northeast and will eventually cross over the Canadian River here and then make its way up towards around Saskatchewan. A lot of the high resolution data that we have been examining throughout the afternoon was showing that as these storms move to the east, the overall tornadic potential would likely increase as the southerly winds continue to just fuel the rotation within the storm here. So Sabrina Bates here running the radar. So 902 for Saskatchewan. Right now it is 8:45. So Saskatchewan, you need to be in your tornado shelter, and anyone that's up in northeastern parts of Pontotoc County and going into southern Hughes County. Let's check back in with Michael. Michael, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, now that I'm moving out of town, you may not see as much here. Let's see if I can do one more thing. My night vision. Let's see if I can get you a little better view. We're going to continue to keep an eye on this as we're moving over toward Allen. We're going to try to parallel the storm. That's what we've been doing the whole time since we were even down by Davis and we saw this thing rotating. That's how long this thing has been rotating, Damon. I mean, it's come all the way from I-35 where it started spinning all the way up now north and east of Ada. And so we're kind of paralleling it. You can see we're getting into more hills and trees and things. So our viewing won't be quite as good as what it was right there around Ada. We'll keep an eye on it, though. I'll keep giving you updates, and we'll continue to monitor it. The bottom line is the tornado warning continues here for areas across Pontotoc County, north and east of Ada.
And I know it might be February, and there's parts of Oklahoma right now that have been shivering throughout the day with wind chills in the 20s and a lot of snow out to the northwest and the Panhandle. But southern Oklahoma, it has been very warm. It has been a lot more like April than February. And so here we are dealing with our only tornado warning now of the evening, and it is this right here, the one that we had in Murray County. That's been allowed to expire. So southeastern Seminole County, southern Hughes County, this area of rotation continues to move up in your direction. Francis, once again, Francis, you're next in the path, as well as the community right here of Oakman moving in your direction as well. There is Michael. So Michael has when it comes to chasing, he is perfectly situated to let you know whether this is on the ground or not. Again, southeasterly view of this. And so looking at a rotation tracker, definitely, if you look at this rotation tracker, what it is now and what it was about 5 minutes, 10 minutes ago, this is a big improvement. Remember, as this storm was going through Ada, we had some really tight couplets along the way there. Now you're starting to see it stretch out a bit. And when you see it stretch out like this, that typically means broader rotation, so not nearly as tight. We like that. That's what we want to see right now, and that's exactly what we're seeing in northern Pontotoc County, here's Seminole County, and then Hughes County is over here. Sasakwa, you're still in the tornado shelter. You're remaining in your shelter right now, innermost room of your house. Pickett out across western Pontotoc County, you're no longer in the tornado shelter. You're no longer in your tornado shelter. You're no longer in a tornado warning. And so this is the only tornado warning that we have. Sabrina, let's zoom on now. Let's show the big picture. Let's reset everything. If you're just now tuning in, it's 8:45 on this Wednesday evening here. So what do you need to know? Thunderstorms have gone up in southern and now moving into eastern Oklahoma. Storms that are basically north of I-40. Air's a lot more stable. Don't need to worry about severe weather here. Those are going up towards around Tulsa. South of I-40 and well east of I-35, you can see here, line of storms now moving to the east. And so from McAllister down into eastern and southeastern Oklahoma, they're just getting started here. Oklahoma City, Moore, Norman, Lexington, Chickasha, down towards Rush Springs. We're done with the storms for tonight. Down in southern Oklahoma, Pauls Valley, you have one last band of rain that's coming in on the west side of you. As of right now, though, the threat for severe weather with this narrow line is going to be much, much lower. Where we're focusing a lot of our attention is on the leading edge of this as this continues to move to the east-northeast. And just enough instability, just enough moisture has surged out of Texas up in the southeastern Oklahoma to where these storms are going to continue to go. And yes, it does. It absolutely looks a lot more like April than February here. So this tornado warning that we had for Sulphur and Davis, that was allowed to expire. So if you're in Murray County, Sulphur, Davis, Turner Falls area, you're doing better as far as tornadic storms. Now you're still in a severe thunderstorm warning right now with lots of heavy rain coming in. But at least when it comes to tornadoes, we're concentrating that right now solely on northern Pontotoc County as you go now northeast of Ada. So Ada, things are improving for you. Still getting inflow coming right up into the Bing-Francis area, just northeast of Ada. Definitely the rotation is a bit more broad. That means it's not tight. So that's good. That's what we want to see. But we're still watching it closely. Let's check back in with Michael Armstrong. Michael, give us an update on what you're seeing from your vantage point.
Yeah, I agree with that, Damon. I think that things have calmed down just a little bit now. I mean, here's what we've got to be careful of. As long as we have a tornado warning that's in effect, folks need to take their precautions. I mean, we don't ever want to send a message that would suggest that things are not serious with the storm. So the tornado warning continues. So in Allen, you need to take your precautions. As a matter of fact, we're coming up toward Allen. Now, what we can say is that, and you've been saying this perfectly, the rotation's not as strong as what it was, so the storm has lost a little bit of its organization, but the tornado warning is still in effect. So what that means is the storm is still in an environment right now where I'm at, right here, in between Ada and Allen, that this storm could spin back up at any moment. I mean, it could, and it's still rotating. Don't get me wrong, it's still spinning. But when I mean spin up, I'm talking about spin up a lot stronger to where it could produce another tornado. It's really had some areas along here in these rural areas where I'll be surprised if there hasn't been at least one or two tornadoes touch down, even though we haven't necessarily been able to confirm them 100% here at night with the flashes and everything. But we've been on it the whole time, Damon, and it has been rotating for a long time.
It really has. And Michael, we were watching these storms first bubble up just east of Wichita Falls right before 5 o'clock. We've watched them grow in intensity, move to the east. They're still warned, but there's a lot happening now. So some good news, by the way, to pass along is that some of these warnings will be dropped. This tornado warning that we have right here for Francis, and as you go northeast of Ada, and by the way, Ada, you can come out of your shelter or the innermost room of your house if you haven't yet, is that this is still broad, but it's still spinning. And so we're still watching it. It's still tornado warning. This warning goes for another 9 minutes. We have seen a flare up of at least some rotation, some moderate rotation right now, just south of the community of Francis and just west of where Michael is. This could be northeast of Ada, moving into extreme northeast northeastern Pontotoc County. So here's Seminole County, and then you have Hughes County over here. But at this current track, it's going to roll right over the Canadian River here and then make its way in the southern Hughes County and eventually approach Calvin here. But as of right now, with this storm moving up at about 35 miles per hour, this is pretty fast, by the way. So this threat's going to come in here. It's going to be gone by 10 o'clock for a lot of us here. But Allen at 9:08, Calvin at 9:26, and then Stewart at 9:38. At this current track, if you're watching in Holdenville right now, this will likely stay just south of Holdenville, but will make its way into extreme southeastern Seminole County and then going into Hughes County here. That is where the rotation is. This is why the storm is tornado warned, because of at least finding this area of rotation right here that has at least stretched out a bit from Francis down to the community of Happy Land here and north of Homer, once again moving up to the northeast. So again, this warning will likely expire at 9 o'clock. We'll see if a new warning will be issued. As of right now, that decision has not yet been made. Let's check back in with field meteorologist Michael Armstrong. Michael, you have a perfect view into the storm. I know it's dark, but your reports have really helped to tell the story tonight, really helped a lot of us in Pontotoc and Murray County confirm what's happening. Michael, what do you see right now?
Yeah, as of right now, Damon, we're looking back with our 360 cameras, still seeing quite a bit of lightning flashing. There's still lowered areas. I am looking, I see it on radar too. I see exactly what you're talking about on how it tightened back up again just southeast of Francis. And that's just what I was talking about just a second ago, that it may go from more of a broad rotation more to where it gets focused again. And that's why the tornado threat continues and why we're still covering this, because we want people to get the first alert. We want them to be able to take their precautions. And that's what we're seeing. Even here at night, even with night vision, and you can see the lightning just absolutely lighting up the sky right there as we're tracking this up toward Allen.
Yeah, and an update that passed along. So tornado warning now set to expire at 9:15. So 9:15 with this tornado warning as it's moving up to the northeast here. So there has been at least a bit of a tightening of the rotation on the north side. This happened earlier in Ada, where we saw a bit of a tightening of the rotation on the north side of Ada, and then it kind of spread out a bit, and now it's starting to tighten back up again. So basically, until this threat is over, we have to watch it scan by scan, and that is exactly what we are doing here. See how the brighter greens and the brighter reds are now starting to appear back very close to each other. That right there is exactly where the rotation is going to be. So that is going to be about 2.5 miles north of the community of Happy Land here, or just about 3 miles northwest of the town of Stedman, moving up to the northeast. Here is a community of Allen. So Allen right here is where Michael is, moving up to the northeast. At this current track, this should just stay just north of Allen, just by a little bit, as it makes its way up to the northeast. But we have seen, at least in the last radar scan, some brighter colors. And so red, green, and there you have it right there. That is going to be your rotation, your tightest couplet right here. This is the southern branch of the Canadian River right here. So that right here is basically going to run right over the river as it makes its way up to the northeast. We're hoping that all that is impacted are trees, but if you know anyone in northeastern Pontotoc County, southeastern Seminole County, or southern Hughes County, let them know that this storm, while it did show signs of weakening earlier, it's no longer doing that. It's now starting to recirculate. The couplet is getting a little bit stronger. And so Francis, if you're watching in Francis, this is good for you. If you're watching in Bing right now, this is good for you as well. This is east of you, moving away from you. However, for those of us in southeastern Seminole County, southern Hughes County, we're still watching this one. We're watching this scan by scan as this moves up to the northeast. Right now, it is 8:55. This tornado warning will not expire until 9:15. Right now, that's 20 minutes from now. Let's check back in with Michael. Michael, we're seeing this rotation just south of the river as our sweep goes by here. It's not done yet. It's still going. Michael, what do you see from your vantage point?
Yeah, we're just coming in right now into Allen, and we're going to actually turn around and try to find a way to look back to the west at the circulation. That's it, Kyle. Yep, that's the one. Damon, give me just a second. Come
Yeah.
right back to me here
Yeah.
in about 60 seconds.
Yeah, we will, Michael. We will, Michael. So let's go back over to the radar right now. So at this current track, let's zoom out just a little bit here. And so that's really ramped up there. So that's not what you want to see. Sasakwa, this is just south of you. But this couplet has really ramped back up here just in the last couple of scans here. This is right on top of the river. I mean, when you think about what a tornadic couplet looks like, this is it right here. So where you see this tight area, this is right on top of the river. So this is east of Francis, south of Sasakwa. So Seminole, Pontotoc, Hughes County. This is moving up to the northeast here. Just looking downstream, the community of Atwood and Calvin, really watching this one very closely for you. It's moving more up to the northeast, which would have an impact more of Atwood right here. Would likely stay just north of Allen, but it's right on top of the river. And so just looking at that velocity couplet right there, that is definitely concerning as it's still rotating. Tornado warning remains in effect. It is 8:57 right now on this Wednesday night. If you're just now tuning in, our coverage right now, what do you need to know is that tornado warning, we've had multiple tornado warnings now in southern Oklahoma, but now there's just one left. But this one absolutely remains tornadic, at least from a velocity standpoint. Michael, looking right into it. Michael, if you're available, let's go back out to him. Michael, what we're seeing right now on the radar has been an increase in the velocity. Michael, what stands out to you?
Well, as of right now, we do have a very pronounced lowered area once again coming. It's coming right at us, actually, as a matter of fact. We're right here on the edge of Allen. We're looking back to the west here in just a second. We're going to turn around because we'll have to go out back in front of it again, Damon. Because we're now in a position to track this as it moves into town. The problem is, again, we just have tons of trees and hills. Let's go to the next hill, Kyle, see if we can get a view. We're trying to get a view of it right now, Damon. That's what we're working on. And then we'll be able to turn around and go back to the east with it. But we put ourselves out in a position to be able to track this in case it comes in and hits Allen. So, Kyle, I want you to just be looking for any type of clearing where we don't have trees, where we can get a view of the skyline. We're going to be looking right at it. Right at it.
And Michael, I know certainly as you go east of I-35, that becomes a little bit more challenging. Taller trees. Also, it is dark outside. And so, but we're watching this right now. And again, Sasakwa, this is likely going to stay just south of you. But let's zoom out here just a little bit. Look at Holdenville right now. So Holdenville, at this current track, it's likely going to stay just south of Holdenville, but it will come into southern Hughes County. And so southern Hughes County, from Atwood to Crossroads to Calvin, we're really watching this one closely. Myself, Sabrina, Mike, our entire team here, keeping a close eye on this area of rotation that is right on top of the river, the Canadian River here. So Calvin at 9:25. Right now it's 9 o'clock, so that is 25 minutes from now. And then all the way down to the community Crossroads, 9:27. Lamar, 9:42, Carson, 9:50. It's 9 o'clock right now. If you're tuning in, this is what you need to know. Still finding a very well-defined tornadic signature couplet right here in northern Pontotoc County, extreme southeastern Seminole County, headed into Hughes County right now. Sasakwa, very close to you, but this is going to stay just a few miles down to your south. It's going to hug the river here as it moves up to the northeast. There is Michael, just west of Allen, and so that continues to be a well-defined velocity couplet that we have right here, just west of Allen. Let's check back in with Mike. Mike, anything stand out to you right now?
Just this huge lowering. I mean, it's right in front of us right here, Damon. I mean, we're looking. This is the edge of the wall cloud. That's the right edge of it, and then coming around to the left, it's a very it's big. It's a big wall cloud that's coming in here toward Allen. I don't see anything like any appendages sticking out of it that would indicate, oh, right there, that would be the tornado. But nonetheless. This is kind of what we've been seeing with this storm. Is it's had this history of having this where it has these big. Sorry, we're getting more tornado warnings on our phone, so I'm sorry about the audio going off for everyone. I'm not meaning to frighten anybody. That's just our phones going off when a new warning is issued. That happens. So
Yeah, Michael. So, and by the way, it looks like this new warning, Michael, has just been issued now until 10 o'clock. So if you're just now joining us, we are now on KOCO 5.1 as well as MeTV 5.2. So for everyone that's just now tuning in, we continue to watch this tornadic storm in this area of circulation that's now extending to the east. And so this brand new warning now goes all the way towards Calvin and going into basically up to the far eastern border here of Hughes County. Holdenville, you're not included in this warning, but the community of Crossroads, Calvin, Atwood, Allen included in this new tornado warning. Sasakwa, you're no longer included in this newest tornado warning. This one that we have up here will be allowed to expire here in a few minutes as the circulation is now going to move just southeast of you, Sasakwa. So improving situation for you. A lot of rain too, by the way, with this system, which is nice to see, by the way, in February. But we're still finding this area of spin. It's a little bit more broad than what we saw even a couple minutes ago. I'm going to tell you right now, we've been watching this storm since it developed, and it will have these really tight couplets, and then it'll kind of spread out, and then it'll tighten itself back up again, and then it'll spread out. It has been doing this basically all along the route here, and so this storm now lifting up to the northeast. Community of Allen, Atwood, tornado shelter, now Calvin, you're headed there as well, or the innermost room of your house with this area of circulation moving back up to the northeast. Michael, it looks like in the last couple of radar scans, we saw a bit of a broadening with this couplet right here. Michael, what stands out to you right now?
Yeah, I mean, visually, it kind of appears that way as well. I mean, one of the things I will tell you is, as I was saying earlier, is it's just, oh my goodness, wow, did you see that cloud of ground lightning strike, Damon, right next to that lowering? That's just to my north. So that's what I'm saying, though. There's so many areas of it's a gigantic wall cloud. It is huge. And so we're seeing multiple lowerings form underneath it at times. And I know it gets broader on radar, but for us out here, man, it is wild watching this stuff as it's taking place.
Michael, by the way, yeah, we can definitely see there's a lot of lightning, and it's much easier to see now than even a few minutes ago. But Michael, that looks really low to the ground, Michael, with what we see.
It is really low. Now the thing about it is, underneath, I can't see anything underneath it that would say, and there's no, like, you're not seeing green. But we are seeing increasing cloud-to-ground lightning right now underneath this, and that's what's lighting up this base really well. As I come around into my headlights, that's looking back further to the west now. So we're right here on the west side of Allen. What?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the outdoor warning sirens are sounding in Allen now. Let's go ahead and turn around and go, Kyle. I'm going to track this lowering, Damon, as we're moving along. We're at a place where it's a high place and there's not many trees, which has helped us.
Well, Mike, I know you got to go, and so you got to move along with this. So we totally understand that there. But Michael, I mean, these pictures that you're providing, these are some of the best pictures that we have seen with this storm, and that lowering is extremely low. Again, this is a tornado warning that is by far one of the stronger ones that we have seen so far this evening when it comes to the visuals right here. Thanks to Michael and the pictures that he is providing us from out in the field. But Alan, you just heard him mention sirens are sounding. Easy to see why. Rotation tracker continues to display moderate rotation with this storm lifting up to the northeast here. So the community of Allen, if you're right along the Canadian River and south, you're in your tornado shelter, headed up towards Atwood and eventually Calvin and Crossroads as well. Spalding, Sasakwa, this will stay south of you. Holdenville, this will stay south of you as well. So passing along that message to those that live in those communities, you're in a much better spot. But down to the south, while this has at least broadened out a bit, it's been doing this a lot. So it will spread out and then it'll tighten up, spread out, tighten up. So we're going to continue to watch this scan by scan. Sabrina, let's reconnect if we can. Let's just go ahead and reset everything right now. Show the big picture. If you're just now tuning in, what do you need to know? Western, northern Oklahoma, no need to worry about storms. Oklahoma City, no need to worry about storms. The area that is now being impacted by severe weather is going to be between Sulphur and Allen here. these are just good old-fashioned storms for Pauls Valley and Wynnewood. So Pauls Valley, Wynnewood, I know it's raining right now, but you're okay. So things have really improved for you. You're just getting a nice soaking of rain, which is going to be wonderful. It's not going to last very long. Where the strongest storms are in the state right now, right here. And that's why we're on these, because we continue to watch these tornadic storms moving up to northeast. Still very concerned about this threat right here. Sasakwa, you're okay. Ada, you're okay. Bow Lakes, Seminole, Shawnee, you're okay. Right now, we are hyper-focused on Allen up to Crossroads, southern Hughes County with this storm. Michael, we see you just on the outskirts of the town of Allen. Michael, what stands out to you right now?
Right now, Damon, we are coming into the town of Allen at the moment. The circulation is basically right on top of town. I mean, it's pretty much on top of us. You can see a huge lowering just up to the north of town right now. That would be the area that I think is the most dangerous. Just kind of keeping an eye on that and seeing if we can see anything at the rain. Here, let me turn on my windshield wiper here and get some of that off of our 360 camera. It's still very tight. Outdoor warning sirens were sounding here in Allen, so that's good news, alerting people here. We still see some people that are out at the gas station and just kind of walking around. But hopefully everything will be okay here with that lowest part of the lowering just north of town. Hopefully it'll kind of pass north of here, kind of like it did in Ada earlier. But we're still tracking it as it's moving up toward Atwood. And now our road is going to take us back up into the path of it, so we're going to try to move out ahead of it yet again, just like we did in Allen. So this is what we have to keep doing. We have to keep kind of jockeying with it. And it sounds, I mean, it is dangerous. We're playing chicken with it in a way, but we have to get out ahead of it, or else we have no visual of it whatsoever.
Well, Michael, you have a ton of experience in storm chasing, so you know what is best for you and Kyle. And so watching this storm moving up to the northeast, passing along some meteorology here is that there's a boundary that is actually now dropping down to the south. And so the reason this storm is able to rotate is because it's going right over this boundary. If it floats even a mile north of the boundary here, the northerly winds, we have northerly winds here, southerly winds right here. If it goes even a mile north, that's going to help bring down the tornado risk quite a bit. But looking at some of the hyper-local wind reports that we have in southern Hughes County is that it is very close. Hughes County is very close to going all northerly winds. And once we see all northerly winds in Hughes County, the storms will continue, but the tornado risk will be much lower. That's good. That's very good. However, it hasn't happened yet. So for Calvin, Atwood here, you're still in the spot where at least the storm is still rotating. You can see the red and the green, winds away, winds towards, still spinning right here, a little bit spread out here, so it's not a very tight couplet, but it's tight enough to have a tornado warning. And the way that this storm has behaved since it was first tornado warned southwest of Ada is that it will have these appearances where it looks like it's trying to basically gust out and diminish, and then it tightens back up again. So we are not going to let this storm go until the tornado risk is zero. You deserve to have all the information you need, Southern Hughes County, with this storm that's coming in, and that's why myself, Sabrina, Michael, our team, we are here watching this scan by scan, making sure that you know what's coming in your direction. We know how important this information is for you right now, and that's why we are on air, and we have been on air since before this tornado warning was issued. Let's go back out to Michael on the north side of Allen here. Michael, it looks like at least the velocity is not nearly as tight as it was before, but my goodness, Michael, there's a lot of cloud to ground lightning where you are. Michael, what do you see?
Oh, it's crazy right now, the amount of cloud to ground lightning. And, oh, look at that funnel. I think we had a funnel right there, Damon. We had a funnel in the center of my shot. Just saw it. Absolutely, there's a funnel right there underneath the wall cloud.
Yeah, we definitely see it.
I'm going to keep it centered on it while we're driving. It's hard to do, but we have a wall cloud. It's on our 6. It's right behind us.
Yeah, Michael, we definitely see that. And so once again, what's happening here is the storm is trying to tighten back up again. It's still doing this. And so again, this is why we've been watching this storm here. And while it might be spreading out a bit in the rotation, there's still going to be a couple tight spots right up in it. Michael, you have a perfect visual in this at this. What stands out to you, Michael?
Well, just the fact that it's so low and more defined. You know, you have more of a finger type of funnel rather than more of a broad wall cloud where you just have a lot of like little tags, little clouds, scud clouds hanging down at times. A real laminar appearance, looks real smooth at times. That was really, really pronounced in the lowering. It's kind of lost a little bit of its definition just since I talked to you just a second ago. But that was definitely one of the times where it was the most defined that I've seen it all night. That looked a little bit more like what we were seeing back to the southwest of Ada when it was coming into Ada earlier. And that's going to be east of Allen, so it's going to be coming in very close to Atwood, very close to Atwood.
Yeah, we can definitely see Atwood there in the path of this in southern Hughes County. Yeah, we can definitely see that Atwood, again, is next in line with this storm as it's moving up to the northeast. Michael, again, he's right in the heart of this storm. And so
we're getting a lot more wind now. We're getting a lot more wind. The surface winds, the inflow into this lowering, they're the strongest I've had all night, which is kind of bizarre because, I mean, earlier, just looking at radar and everything, I would have thought for sure that the highest potential for tornado was earlier. But we're getting the strongest surface winds that we've had into this lowering all night.
Well, and Michael, our radar technology here at KOCO is able to see that wind that you're referring to. As a matter of fact, you see that green that's going to be right where Michael is. And so these are winds that are pulling into the storm, and then here it is basically trying to rotate. So Michael, the brighter the green, the stronger the winds, and you are right exactly where our radar is picking up that strongest pocket of winds. I mean, when it comes to rotation, Michael, it's right on top of you. It is right on top of you, Michael.
Yeah. Well, that's what we were talking about earlier. That's why, I'm pushing Kyle and we're moving out ahead of it. But, I've got my 360 camera looking backwards, got a very pronounced lowering, a lot of cloud to ground lightning as it's coming in here toward Atwood, and we're going to keep going on into Calvin. We're not going to stop here. We have to obey the speed limits, certainly, and when we get into town here. But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of wind coming in, a lot of inflow into the storm. It's a very, very dangerous storm right now for Atwood and Calvin. Please take your immediate tornado precautions. Man, the winds are really starting to whip around. They really are, Damon.
Yeah, and Michael, not only that, I mean, the cloud to ground lightning that is in your shot right there is just tremendous right now as well. So Michael continues to basically take the path that the storm is on. He's right in front of it, and this area of circulation is going right up the highway. So this is now headed up towards eventually Atwood and then Calvin. Michael right now being on Highway 48, again, Highway 48, and that is where the circulation is. So Allen, the threat is now east of you. Allen, you're okay. So Spalding, you're okay as well. Even Holdenville, you're okay. But with Sabrina putting on the storm rotation tracker here, this really helps clean up all the colors that you see on the radar. Shows you exactly where the rotation is most pronounced. We can definitely see from Atwood and even just east of Allen. But at this current track, Calvin, this is coming in your direction. So Calvin, now is the time. If you haven't gone into your tornado shelter yet, now is the time to go into your tornado shelter, innermost room of your house. This storm moving at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So just a little lower than the speed limit here on the highway, but it will be moving in here pretty soon as it continues to move up to the northeast. So the tornado risk continues, and it looks like at least the risk is going to continue for a little while longer, with this tornado warning remaining in effect now until 10 o'clock. Right now it is 9:15, so this warning is set to expire in 45 minutes. And once the tornado threat is over for good, then we'll let this storm go. But as of right now, we're staring right into the heart of this storm, both with the technology that we have here and both on the ground as well as here at the TV station. Michael's looking right into it. Michael, still seeing that area of rotation coming very close to the community of Atwood, and then eventually into Calvin. Michael, what do you see from where you are out on the field?
Well, I'm very concerned about it just because of the amount of wind that we're getting. We're getting a left to right wind, and that would be north to south, which would mean the circulation is going to be by the southwest. You can still see a huge lowering behind me. I mean, when the lightning lights it up, it's a gigantic wall cloud. It's still, it's very close to the ground. That's the thing, that the cloud bases are just super low, and when you're in the hills and trees over here, it makes it really difficult to kind of view. But look at how bright that is, man. When those cloud ground lightning flashes hit, I mean, there is a tremendous amount of electricity with this storm, especially right under the base, right in the bear's cage is what we call it. That's right where the circulation is at, and that's where we have to go to see the tornado. And it is really sucking a lot of air into the base of this storm right now.
Yeah, it absolutely is, Michael, and we can see that with the technology here as the winds are getting pulled into this. That's why this green color bends back right over the town of Atwood and then rotates back in on the southern side. That is your rotation right there, moving up to the northeast here. So this tornado warning, it's still in effect until 10 o'clock. Now, Holdenville, you're okay. Sabrina, let's zoom on out. Let's show the big picture because there's lots of non-severe storms that are impacting us right now across the state. So while the risk for severe weather is with this tornadic thunderstorm right here, there are other thunderstorms right now. They're ongoing west of Springer, west of Turner Falls. These are areas that had tornado warnings earlier. Davis, Sulphur. This right here is a much better picture for you to see. In fact, we just have good old-fashioned rain. We don't have any of those yellow, those red polygons flashing on here. So Pauls Valley, Wynnewood, this is rain lifting up to the northeast here, now coming into extreme southern Cleveland County, and then about to go into Pottawatomie County as well. But these are all northerly winds. And so with northerly winds right here, that's basically going to keep the tornado risk incredibly low. Where we're still having southerly winds, that's ahead of this. And that's why the tornado risk still continues with this storm moving to the east here. So if you're watching right now, Seminole, Shawnee, Tecumseh, any rain that you're going to see in the next hour or so, this will be out of here within the next hour, is basically just going to be a nice rain event for you. Hardly much of a severe weather risk. A few pockets of gusty winds are certainly possible there. Same thing for Holdenville. Holdenville, you're getting a ton of rain right now, and I know it's wonderful to see. Wewoka, up towards Wetumpka here, and eventually up towards Walika as well. Watching this right now, moving to the east. Michael right now is making his way into what appears to be the town of Calvin. Michael, what's happening in Calvin right now?
Yeah, the cars are going off in Calvin, and they should be. And this one is a tremendous amount of influence, very low end. Looking backwards right now, here
Okay, Mike. I know your sound is coming in and out right now. So as you're down there, and we're hoping that's not a sign of any type of, say, cell phone structures that have been hit. But Michael, right there in the town of Calvin, sounds like the tornado sirens were going off. This tornado warning remains in effect until 10 o'clock. And so as of right now, once again, tornado warning, only one tornado warning right now in the state, and that is going to be where Michael is right now. This is going to be in southern Hughes County. So Calvin, we know the sirens are sounding. We heard them from Michael just moments ago, and they are sounding because of this right here, which is going to be right over the community of Atwood. The circulation is still evident on radar. It's not very tight, but it's tight enough for there to be a tornado warning with this right here, where the red and the green come together. That's where your tornadic circulation is going to be strongest, basically from Atwood, southwest of Calvin. Calvin, this is coming into town any minute now. Right now, this circulation has already cleared Atwood. So Calvin, you're next in line with this storm, and we're about I'd say about 5 miles or so southwest of Calvin. This storm moving up to the northeast. The tornado warning for Hughes County is technically set to expire at 10 o'clock. Right now, it is 9:20. Again, it is 9:20, and this storm is still moving up to the northeast. So Calvin, you're still in your shelter. Atwood, things are improving for you, which is good to see here. But right now, the all clear is not quite there yet. We are seeing an uptick, by the way, in the hail sizes that are going to be inside of this too. This storm warned for ping pong ball size hail in it as well. So tornado warning, and then the hail side and the hail threat will be on the northern side there. So there's definitely quite a bit of ice up in this storm that's fallen down to the ground as well. Still seeing an area of moderate rotation, still extending to the east, northeast here, picking up a bit here just southwest of Calvin. But this is moving up to the northeast. This is the Canadian River. And so this is going to continue to basically hug the Canadian River as it moves eventually into far eastern Oklahoma. And by about 11 o'clock, it's going to pick up some speed and eventually cross into Arkansas later tonight, where the tornado risk is going to increase there. But we have definitely noticed, at least in the last couple of scans here, that at least the circulation, while it's still there, it's spreading out. And so we want to see that. That's what we like to see. That means that the tornado risk is trying to come down, but it's been doing this since this tornado warning was first issued when it was back in western Pontotoc County and coming out of Murray County, where it will go through these cycles. It'll pick up, it'll go down. It'll pick up, it'll go down. Michael, the amount of lightning that we're seeing in your picture continues to just look so intense. Michael, what do you see from your standpoint?
Yeah, I'm giving you a shot out of the front right now. We are moving up into the core of the storm, away from the circulation. There are simply no roads past Calvin that we can take that will keep us with the storm. So, in other words, Damon, our circulation wall cloud chasing is done with this storm now that it's passing Calvin. I'm going to switch around to my 360 camera here and give you a view backwards now. We've had tremendous inflow into the storm. I mean, winds, I don't even know. They're probably around 60, 65 at times, blowing from north to south right into the circulation. That's never a good thing. Be safe and to bail and to get away from the storm. So that's what we're doing. Unfortunately, I won't be able to give you as much of a visual and as much information now on the ground as what I was able to earlier. But what a storm. Very, very dangerous.
It is very, very dangerous. And so, and by the way, just to update, so you can see another flashing red polygon here. Another tornado warning has just been issued. Now, this is going to be down towards Cole County, so down towards Pontotoc, for that right there east of Stonewall. Now, that's southeast of Ada, and that's going to continue to move into eastern Oklahoma. But for Calvin, we know you're watching us right now in Calvin. Wow, look at the lightning, by the way, in Michael's picture. I mean, there's a lot of electricity in the atmosphere tonight. Let's zoom back into Calvin because the circulation is still there. Now, Calvin, this is about to move out of town very, very soon, but still, you're in your tornado shelter in the innermost room. This is not going to be in Hughes County for that much longer. This is picking up some speed here as it's moving to the east, but this tornado warning remains in effect for Hughes County. Again, Holdenville, you're okay. Holdenville, this is staying south of you. This will not impact you at all. As the sweep goes by, the circulation's cutting right down the middle of Calvin here with the red and the green here, continues to hug the river, moving to the east here. So this storm, again, it will be out of Hughes County. Right now it's 9:25. Give it just a few more minutes. It's moving at a fairly good clip here, about 30 to 35 miles per hour. And so it's about to move out of Calvin and then move into eastern parts of Hughes County, and then it'll be out of Hughes County very, very soon. But Calvin, it appears that you're the last stop with this storm in Hughes County before it moves out of town. So we're going to continue to watch this closely for you. And Calvin, once again, moving to the east. On the backside, you're going to have some nice rain. You're going to have a lot of wind, some at least not a lot of like straight line wind, but just a lot of wind on the backside of the storm system as we're now getting ready to see just the storm itself, the large storm itself, begin to produce widespread winds across the state. So yesterday, very windy day. Very windy day in Oklahoma, probably with some of the worst winds we have felt in a while. So the winds will pick back up tonight as the storm system lifts out of here, and it is going to pull in some extremely cold air with it out of the north. And tomorrow morning, we're waking up to wind chills in the single digits and teens. So today it felt like spring. Tomorrow it's going to feel a lot more like winter. But Calvin, still watching this tornadic threat closely for you as it's moving up to the northeast. So check back in with Mike. Mike, you've been keeping a close, I know you have an ear on a lot of the scanners and a lot of the reports coming out of this area. Michael, are you hearing anything?
Well, no, I'm just going to give you an idea of how intense the rain is now, and you can see it's just blowing straight in on this storm. We're getting some hail mixed in now with the storm. It's not very big, so it's not damaging but we are getting some small hail mixed in with this core now and the heavy rain. It really looks like the storm kind of tried to get one last gasp there as it was coming in toward Calvin. I think it's starting to lose some of its definition on its rotation now. We still could see a lowering looking south into Calvin as we came north of town. And if you look on the velocities, you might be even able to analyze that, Damon, on the radar and actually see where the inflow actually wraps all the way around it and almost back into Calvin.
And Michael, we can definitely, by the way, hear that hail.
Wild storm.
Yeah, Michael, we can hear the hail that has been falling there. So looking at the picture there, this is from Michael. So the tornadic circulation is now moving east of Calvin, and so now moving out of Hughes County. So we're going to continue to watch this as it moves to the east. One more tornado warning. Let's just show one last big picture, Sabrina. Show the big picture, show everyone what's happening right now. So good old-fashioned rain coming into Springer, Sulphur, Elmore City, Pauls Valley, lifting up to the north. But now the tornado risk is shifting towards McAllister, eastern Oklahoma, and about to cross into Arkansas. Keep it with KOCO 5 News. We'll bring you the first alert.